purpose of the follow-up is to recontact your prospect and move him or her towards what they've stated they need, want, or don't want. The purpose of the follow-through is when your prospect indicates readiness to act, join, enroll, sign up. Then you follow through by delivering all he or she needs to get what they've stated they need, want, or don't want. This starts with completing simple distributor agreements, getting products or signing them up for services, etc. Then moves on to training them how to do each step of the business. Being effective at follow-up depends on the previous step of the inviting formula, close to action. When you closed your prospect to action, they agreed to do some things and you agreed to do some things. One of those items was for you to recontact them at a scheduled time. Do that. That's follow-up. You may need to follow up or recontact your prospect several times to get them to the stage where you follow through with them. Now, I'm not going to pretend that follow-up is fun. It most certainly is not. The reason it's not fun is because here is where you're going to get the objections, and here's where prospects who don't have the ability to communicate will avoid your phone call. But follow-up is a requirement to your success. I've identified 3 main areas about follow-up that need to be understood in order to be successful at it, therefore successful at network marketing. Number 1, close to action well, and your follow-ups will work out a lot better. Number 2, do follow up. Most network marketers and salespeople, for that matter, don't. That's why most don't succeed. Number 3, it's not you. I know that doesn't make an ounce of sense, but listen on and it will. I wrote a piece in a newsletter that I wanted to contribute here because I think it will help you see the big picture of what follow-up really is. So let's just picture what's going on here. Mr. Prospect has this need-want. For this discussion, I'm going to say he needs money and get what he calls breathing room. I could interchange time or anything else here, but for this discussion, I'm going to use money. So Mr. Prospect is very, very worried about his credit card bills. He's gotten himself in over his head. There was a time when he didn't have credit card bills. He could pay off the credit card the same month the charges came in. Once or twice he charged something that required 2 or 3 months to pay it off. He used a little bit of discipline and reduced his expenses in other areas, and with pride, he sent in the payment and paid it all off. And then at some point, he sunk too deep and wasn't able to pay it off in a month or 2. He's now in debt and has been for years. But Mr. Prospect has pride. He is completely convinced he will pay it off. So convinced, he starts erecting even more determination. His determination is so strong that it has actually become walls of determination. What do I mean by walls of determination? Well, he starts making very strong statements such as, I will not spend any money on anything I don't need. He says to his family, all right, family, we need to tighten down on spending money. He's always making the statement, we can't afford that. His wife asks, honey, can we go to the movies tonight? He responds, good grief, can't you see we can't spend any more money? The debt is killing us. A postcard hits his mailbox about making money from home. He calls and leaves a message that starts with something like this, I'm just curious about this, on your message machine. You call him back. You do a good greeting and qualify. He doesn't express all this grief he has. Remember, he's got pride. He wraps all his grief up in a tiny statement like, just looking to make some extra cash. The whole time you're talking, he's got one thing on his mind. What's this going to cost me? If it costs anything, he's going to put that wall of determination between you and him. This what does it cost question doesn't come up because you're moving right through the inviting formula, and the formula was created with the purpose of minimizing objections. You conclude that he does in fact qualify, and you invite him to look at an online movie. He agrees, and you schedule a time to follow up. You call at the designated time, he doesn't answer the phone and doesn't return your phone call. You think it's you. You think he's turning you down. You think you need to go back to the drawing board because this thing isn't working. Networker, Mr. Prospect needs your help. He's trapped himself behind his wall of determination. You need to help him get around, under, through, or over this wall, which requires you to continually follow up with him. Don't sit around looking at your issues and dreaming up all kinds of stuff. It's not you. That was point number 3 that I mentioned earlier. It's not you. Call the man back. Call him again, and keep calling till you reach him. Hold his hand and walk him through his wall. That's what follow-up is all about. It's not fun, but it's honorable. When thinking about or dreading doing the numbers, remember that every number is a human being. Help that human being, and then follow-up is a lot easier. There are going to be many times when you're not going to be able to get your prospect around his wall, whatever that wall is. That wall could be time. That wall could be not interested in MLM. It could be that he just doesn't want to work with you. But the point is, you must keep trying to help him. I'm going to give you suggestions a little later about how often you follow up and when you call it quits on following up with a specific prospect. But I want you to see the big picture of what you're really trying to accomplish with follow-up, and let the big picture be your guide. The procedures to do a correct follow-up are as follows. Number 1, refresh your memory. Before your follow-up call, briefly refresh your memory of the prospect's needs, wants, and don't wants. As stated earlier, this gets and keeps your prospect's attention. Number 2, put caller ID block off. When you call your prospect at the scheduled time, you want him or her to know it's you. Number 3, call at the scheduled time. Don't be late or early. Number 4, be prepared to leave a message. Don't be surprised by an answering machine. Number 5, greet prospect briefly. Hi Mark, did you have a good day today? Number 6, qualify and prompt. You qualify your prospect by asking if he watched the movie. If no, handle that. I'll discuss that later. If yes, meaning the prospect did watch the movie, ask the prospect if he found the movie educational. Normally you can briefly add your own experience here to prompt the prospect, such as, do you remember the part about the basketball moving through the garden hose? That really made a lot of sense to me. What did you think of that part? 7. Merge their needs, wants, don't wants with the movie. Remember, you refreshed your memory of their needs, wants, don't wants in the first step. Merge those with something in the movie. An example would be, you know when you told me that you really wanted to spend more time on the golf course? Well, the section on leverage was what prompted me to send that movie to you. Did the leverage part make sense to you? Can you see why I wanted you to see the movie? Step 8. Merge your product service to the trends discussed in the movie. Here's an example. In the discussion on the basketball through the garden hose, the gentleman mentioned the future trends. One of those trends was health. Do you see health as being a big trend? Well, that's the trend we're taking advantage of by offering people, then insert whatever it is that your product does to make people's life better, such as a way to increase their health. You can see that there are a billion people who are getting old right now, and they want their health back. Do you take supplements? What's the number one reason you take them? Let's do a couple of live calls. We'll start with Tish. She's the sharp lady I met in the gym. She brings up some very good topics that I think you can really learn from.
Hello?
Is this Tish?
Yeah, it is.
Hi, Tish. This is Tim Sales calling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing good.
Good.
So your day going well?
So far, but it's still early.
Yes, it is indeed. So did you get a chance to watch the movie?
I did.
Ah, good girl. You did your homework.
I found time. It was like 10 minutes before this phone call, but I got it.
Oh, good. So tell me, is there a particular part that you liked?
To be honest, it wasn't. There wasn't a particular part that rang true with me, but I got the overall concept of how different customers and their spending habits and what's important to them and what they value are so uniquely different. That I think it's caused me to go back and take another look at my business plan, because I perceived to have a great product, everybody's going to want it. Well, it doesn't hold the same value to various types of customers throughout various types of generations. So I got that, and that I think probably held more significance to me than anything, so that I can go back and do that kind of reassessment and readdress who I think my target audience should be.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
Can you see why I thought of you as it relates to you being able to get back this thing that you want called time? There was an example that I gave at the end about if you have 50,000 people and each of those work for 1 hour, then you're being paid on 50,000 hours. And if you were to wake up tomorrow morning and try to put in 50,000 hours tomorrow, it'd be kind of hard to do, right?
Might be a long day.
And so could you see now how, as it relates to time, that's how you actually get more of it?
Yeah, I did, but if I can be honest, I've had this this perception, and it's kind of a stigma, and it's just perhaps only my perception of individuals have approached me for various things, Pampered Chef Party, consulting, Mary Kay, this, that, and the other. And I have this perception of these individuals that I didn't want to have that same association or have any of, my friends or customers or anything else perceive me that way. And it seems to me that a vast majority of them either don't believe in the product they sell, they're not knowledgeable in the product that they sell, they don't really hear you, they're pushing a product, and when you say no, they still don't hear that, they just keep pushing. And so, they call at all hours of the night, irrespective of your time, there's no appreciation for that, and I get really turned off by that pushiness. It's a salesmanship, not a profession. But I'll give you credit with the video that I saw. It seems like the approach that your group or what have you is taking is a lot more professional based than what my past experiences have been.
I'm sorry for the.
Sounds like you have some
for the
excitement
fire truck that's driving into my living room here. If you could just restate what you just said.
Well, yeah, the website, it just seemed that approach was a lot more professional. It seemed more thought out, like there had been some integrity behind what you guys were seeking to do instead of the, 7 o'clock phone call right in the middle of dinner. It just seems to have more of a professional flavor to it.
Oh, you're talking about the movie itself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That's quite a compliment. If you don't mind, can I just not retaliating or anything like that, but just really more acknowledging your observation of something.
Okay.
On those things that you brought up, and you said them pretty quick, but I was trying to capture them all. A few of them were they don't believe you when you say no. They don't listen to you when you say no. They're too pushy, and they call it all hours of the day and night, not respecting your time.
Right.
Right. That isn't necessarily an industry.
Oh, I understand that. I do.
Right. Good. That's an individual, and an individual's choice.
Absolutely. I believe that an individual has a responsibility to have the integrity to know, their discipline, to, prepare themselves and train themselves for it. And, it's a personal choice if they take that initiative or that they don't. And so, unfortunately, I think I've just been coincidentally the recipient of all of the individuals that don't. There's just a whole bevy of individuals that, I realize it's not an industry, and I've just probably been coincidentally subjected to the poor ones. But I have, and so because of that, I have this perception of them. And unfortunately, I didn't want to participate in something that might potentially give someone else the same perception of me in that manner.
Right. And if you called somebody at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, and if you called somebody at 7 p.m. in the evening when they're having dinner, and if when you talk to somebody, you're not listening, you're, somewhere else or just saying, yeah, say what you're going to say so that I can say what I'm going to say.
Right.
If you do all those things, then you're going to basically be the same thing. And it's important, Tish, to separate out and say, okay, which part of this is an industry issue and which part of these are individual issues. Those are people who, A, didn't receive training, B, didn't listen to the training. But the fundamental of the industry itself is it moves a product to the end consumer, right? So whether it's a vitamin or it's a kitchenware, whatever it is, it's a product moving to an end consumer.
Right.
How many commercials or advertisements in some kind of a way do you think you get in a day?
Hard to say. Some of them are subliminal, some are blatant.
Well, if you think audio, right? Radio, TV, internet, signboards.
Obviously, an uneducated guess would be 50 to 100 a day.
Okay. And so if one of those is network marketing, view it in the total. In other words, a lot of times you think, oh, well, there's all these people. Well, all they're doing is trying to move a product to a consumer. Just like if you're listening to the radio and you're hearing something on the way to work, they are too.
Right.
And so it's just another method.
Sure.
Now, when you get a customer, you're going to earn income from that particular customer for as long as they are your customer. And if the product is consumable, then you get to keep earning that. And so that's the reason people are out there trying to do it. It's just that they don't have a lot of technique when they're actually doing it. And so you would be different, correct?
God willing. Yes. and that's, I'll tell you that some concern as well is because I know that I do have the integrity that when I'm going to approach something that I'm going to give it, all of the time and dedication that is necessary. So there's some trepidation about, one more pursuit, because this one more pursuit requires my time. It does require my dedication, and that seems so limited as it is. That obviously, looking in the long term, what am I gaining? Ultimately, will this provide me more and so forth? Yeah, probably would. It just feels so pressured with the limited time that I do have now, and everybody seems to need or want more of it, and there's less there for you. There is that reservation. So.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing that with me. And do you remember this little piece of paper that we divided into 3 parts?
Yeah.
Okay. Hard thing to get out of your head once you see that, by the way. And on the right-hand side, we had 8 hours of stuff, right? Now, some of that stuff is important. But if what you do is you dedicate that block of 8 hours that you can do, let's say that you can carve out 2 hours in a day, to actually contribute to gaining you back more of the other 8 hours that you spend at work. And it's not, I'm not trying to demoralize or anything. I'm just saying that what that's going to do by you being there every single day is that it gives you the short-term benefit of having income, but not the long-term benefit of having your dreams and goals and financial security.
Right.
And so if you can take a block of that 8 hours on the right-hand side, work until you gain more of that 8 hours that you were working for somebody else. Now you've got 16 full hours that you can work towards creating your dreams and goals. At the immediate front, you see this is another thing to add to my already busy schedule.
Right.
But the difference is this one is contributing towards long term.
Right.
And it didn't take me long. It took me 4 months to do that. 4 months in the total of things where I had been in the military for 10 years. So 10 years worth of effort, and then in 4 months I was able to create that same thing. Now I'm not saying that you would or anything else. I'm not trying to give you any kind of promise. It's just that is where I gained back that middle block of time. Mm-hmm. And so that's the difference. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I think to go inside with, not that I'm trying to provide you excuses for anything, but, aside from the time trepidation, there's always the trepidation as well as, is this the right decision for me? All the time I've invested in work and school and those types of things to get me where I am now, putting those aside and pursuing this, other venture, how much risk is it if I, fail miserably? Am I going to blow everything that I've done to date to get me where I am? Because you can't predict what's going to happen in the future, whether this decision is a good decision for you or not. There's some reservations there too.
Well, do you have the ability to look and decide what your future is going to hold? In other words, you might not be able to predict the next time the earthquake is going to hit California, but what you can predict is whether or not this would be a good logical avenue for you. Because what you have already determined, how long have you worked in project management?
Since I was 19, so 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah. I mean, in increments. I went through, obviously I was not always at this caliber, but...
Yeah. And if Tish, you're totally happy where you're at now, and looking forward, you say, you know what, within 5 years I'm going to be at this particular position, and that is my dream in life, then I would say don't stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you look at it right now and you go, wow, the best years of my life, I'm not spending the way I want to spend them. Mm-hmm. Because it is a fact that the older that you get, the less marketable that you are in terms of for society. And all you have to do is look at the people who are 65 and plus and look at the jobs that they occupy.
Yeah.
Right?
Walmart greeters?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Tim. The job I'm in is not my dream job. I mean, I fell into the type of work that I do, and I just happened to catch on, and I did okay. And, I'm sure you understand the whole scenario. Somebody saw that I did okay and gave me a little more work to do, a little harder and a little more difficulty, and I did okay at that. And so it's just been this natural progression. At some point in life, the lights went on and said, okay, well, I could make more money if I worked a little harder and acquired the credentials that it takes to get me to the next level. And so I did that, and I sought the time to get there and did it. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that the reservation is there's some concern that is everything that I've done to date going to be superseded now and of non-value because I've jumped into this new career that I can't necessarily foresee the outcome of it. I mean, one, because I don't obviously understand what the product is or the training is or, what the requirements are for it. But, it's kind of a rude awakening when you find out that you've spent 15 years doing something that, potentially hasn't had much value and could change within the course of, 4 months. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring up an analogy that you're going to love because
Okay.
you're a female, okay?
Uh-oh. Okay.
I'm going to pretend that you are like with your husband and you're driving down the street and you have this feeling that you're going the wrong way for a long time. So the question is how far do you go down the wrong path before you turn around?
Funny you bring that up. I do that quite frequently. I went to take my husband out for his birthday dinner, and I drove. He fell asleep in the car, and 10 minutes before our reservations were supposed to be ready, I realized I'm on the wrong freeway. So that rings true farther than you realize. But you're right. I do see what you're saying. I mean, the more time I spend down this career that does or doesn't help me realize what it is I'm trying to realize, that's less time I have to dedicate in the future. So
does it? In other words, that's kind of like at some point we're going to have to get to that decision point.
Right.
Does it give you your dreams and goals?
Right.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, it satisfies the the requirements of today. It pays the bills. It it allows me money in my pocket and savings. But beyond that, we do okay. We're not hurting for anything, but it still doesn't, allow us to go beyond that. So
All right.
I'm interested in what you have to say. I genuinely am, but there is just this inherent trepidation, that's all.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And I welcome it, and I don't discourage it at all. And please, every single time you have any of that skepticism or trepidation, anything at all, bring it up. Because
everyone has fear of the unknown. So I think that's, in its truest form, that's all it really is.
that is all there is to fear.
Yeah.
Because once you look at the thing, it's never as scary.
True. True. Well, plus you transcend to, you start to understand what it is, and so the unknown factors aren't there any longer either. So.
Yeah, in other words, I was forever afraid of the people who lived under my bed as a kid.
Yeah. It was sharks for me, but yeah.
And once my mom made me clean under the bed about 4 times, I realized there's nobody there.
Right, right.
But I lived with fear, leaping off my bed and almost reaching the bathroom from jumping from my bed so that they couldn't reach and grab my feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the company. And in other words, I'm assuming here, and I don't want to assume without you following along with me, but I'm assuming that you have at least enough interest in terms of the industry itself, provided that we do it in a professional way and provided that I supply you with very effective training, that I'm assuming that you are satisfied to that point, and then the next would be for us to take a look at the company itself.
Yeah.
And the products that are going to have to be, products that you approve of and desire, and and feel as though that other people should also have it.
Yeah, because I don't think I'd be a real good salesman at encyclopedias. I can access it on the internet now. There's not really a value add behind it. But if it's other stuff that relates to more along the lines of what I do, I mean, I could probably get behind the product. So yeah, I'd be interested.
Good. So there's a website that I want you to take a look at.
Okay.
If you want to write this down.
I can do that.
It is, sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So thank you so much for all that you've shared with me in terms of, some of these things are personal and I appreciate it, but we will we'll march on from here.
Sounds good.
All right, Tish. Thanks so much.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right.
This next call is with Ruth. In the section that follows these live calls, I will discuss the procedures for leaving messages. On this live call, I've included a message I left on Ruth's answering machine. Then she called me back. So the call will pick up shortly after I answered the phone. Ruth's call went very well. Remember, she was the lady who, as soon as we got on the phone, she immediately opened up and started telling me what she was looking for in a business. What I want you to hear in these live calls is how I make the transition from Brilliant Compensation to my company. What you won't hear is anything specific to my company. I tried to leave as much of the call intact as I could, but I cut out anything I say that is specific to my company because I don't want any information in Professional Inviter that might seem promotional towards you. That's why I cut it out of the call. Again, what I want you to learn is how I use brilliant compensation to transition to the specifics of my company.
Hello. No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, Ruth. Tim Sales calling you. I am available if you want to call me back. I am at 202. Again, 202. I will be pretty much in and out all day, and try to reach me, and if not, I'll try to reach you as well. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Tim.
Hi, Tim. It's Ruth. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Sorry I had to run out, farming. It's harvest season, so you never know.
And you're in grain, right?
Yes.
It is harvest season.
Yes, it is.
All right. So did you watch my little animated character?
Yes, a couple times.
So what did you think of Brilliant Compensation?
I thought it had all the earmarks for success. I guess depending on what the product is, it sounds good. I mean, you got original product, you got residual income, consumable product, no employees, but, it does concern me about getting people on board to want to do it. Unless it really intrigues me, I don't see where it would really intrigue somebody else. I guess it depends on the product,
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it sounded like it had everything it needed except for what's the product.
An additional question Ruth asked me was how to interest other people into the business. We'll pick back up with me answering her.
So here's the whole reason that I send that particular movie out first. Many, many times, Ruth, people do not know how to evaluate a business.
Exactly.
And so I am trying to tell them the assets, if you wanted to call it that, are the good parts of a business. Mm-hmm. And they don't know how to evaluate a business. And so that's the first thing that I send out is that I want them to know how to evaluate a business. All right. From that, then the rest of it I can explain, and it makes logical sense.
Yeah.
And
because,
so
you're explaining to me that basically you're on the front end of this market. You're 1 year into a 15-year patent, so you have originality.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the baby boom era, and baby boomers do spend more money in a lot of areas. I know, being 44, I do myself.
Sure.
And I'm at that area where I'm concerned about health care, and I'm concerned about aging and the way I look and vitality and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Correct.
So
Very
I would
good.
think, you'd be more on that end of it, versus someone on the lower end.
Right. And that's what I try to establish first with the basketball moving through the garden hose, is for people to, first and foremost, realize that trends is what drives a market. That's the first part, basketball going through the garden hose. And everybody, when they age, from cradle to grave, they all buy similar types of things. The first thing a baby needs when he's born is food. The second thing he needs is diapers. The third thing that he needs is shoes. And then he goes into toys, and then he goes into music, and then he goes into cars, and then he goes into... In other words, it's just like this logical transition.
Yeah, I have 4 teenagers. Well,
okay.
older than teenagers.
You know what it is that people need. All right. The second thing that I like to have people to understand is you go a little bit deeper into trends, and you say, all right, now you can sell bowling balls, and there's a stage that people are going to go through where they might bowl. But yet, how often do they rebuy a bowling ball? So that's the reason that...
How often does everybody like bowling? I hate it.
Yeah, but the point is that once you've looked at trends, then the next thing is it important to have consumability? Well, if I'm going to go through the effort of marketing something, then what I would like to have is that I don't have to resell them every single month, or every year, or every 3 years or 6 years, like a car or whatever it is. So I like to do it one time and then have repeat business.
Exactly.
That's where that part is. And then I move forward with bringing in the logic of you can hire employees, and that is normally where a business person comes in. They'll try to do it all themselves, and then they say, I can't. And then the next step that they try to do is they say, I want to hire employees because I can't do it all. And then as soon as you hire employees and you train them correctly, if they have any entrepreneurial spirit, they're going to turn right around and take your business from you.
Yeah, because, of course that makes sense, with your pyramid going down, and they're not employees, and basically they're, brokers themselves, and
Yeah.
they're in business for themselves, and you times the manpower times the hours, and of course you could never do it yourself.
Right.
All that makes sense.
Okay, very good. So that's the reason that I like to have people first see that before I really get into depth on
makes sense.
what my offer is, if you will. All right. So moving into my particular company, and the reason that I participate in this particular company is because, number one, at the end of any successful business is a consumer that needs a product and a product that meets that need. Okay? And so there's a big, big value in terms of that the product is good. Now, do you know what an antioxidant is?
I truly do.
All right. If I was a 10-year-old and you were explaining an antioxidant, what would you say it does?
Oh, I'd say it would be like a monster gobbling up boogeymen.
All right. Excellent.
And once it gobbles them all up, then you're safe.
Good. And you're safe from what?
Free radicals.
Very good. And what do free radicals do?
They damage the body, cause cancer, cause aging, wrinkles, age spots.
Very good.
Something that people my age are very concerned with.
That's it.
I spend a lot of money on creams and potions and vitamins and hair colorings, but if I could get something like that, then you want to know the proper products.
That's right.
I know, but do you know, I'm sure you do, because I do you know how many areas that free radicals destroy?
Oh, yes.
And do you know that somebody, I don't know how old you are, but someone my age is totally interested in looking as young as possible. That's
correct.
And we spend so much money and crap that sits up in my medicine cabinet because it doesn't work.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always do business from this one perspective, and that is you got to make people's lives better.
Mm-hmm.
The consumer's life better is the ultimate better that we're doing.
Listen very carefully to the noise in the background. I can tell she's multitasking, so I ask her a question, which she can't answer because she's multitasking, to bring her back into the conversation. If you remember back to general tip number 10, which is observe. That's what I'm doing when I ask her a question that brings her back to the conversation.
And so the procedures that we do is, why don't you explain back to me what you understand about this so far, so that I can see what you see, and then I can fill in the blanks if there are any.
Okay. What it looks like to me is all the things that we discussed. You have a good product. It's fairly new. It looks like to me, am I going to have to go out there and sell the original product as well as the vitamins and nutrition that go with it?
Okay.
Being on the ground floor? Because if it is, it's a win-win situation.
Of course it is.
Did you notice she wasn't able to answer my question? And that's okay, because I only asked her the question to bring her back to the conversation.
We train them very thoroughly so that they can get the same results that we get.
Okay.
And then once you have trained them properly, and the only way you can say that they are trained properly is if they are getting customers, right?
Oh my God, this is so cool. I mean, I don't get excited about things, okay? Because I always try to look for something wrong. But when it comes to the medical field, knowing what someone my age needs and wants, I mean, hell, I know for a fact that if I were to get, I'm going to take these vitamins.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
Good.
Because anything over 40, and you want to look young, you want to feel young, you want to live as long as possible.
That's exactly
Oh
right.
my God, I'm so excited.
Good. All right. I have to run here. I think you've got a picture of what it is that we do. I've given you all the scene, warts and all. I am assuming here, and if I am wrongly, let me know, but I am assuming that you have an interest, if not a high interest in this.
I have a very high interest in it.
Good.
I'd like to at least I don't want to bring anybody into it, but I'd like to say to a couple people, if this or if that, would you be interested in it?
Pay close attention to the way I handle this question.
Yeah. That's up to you. You're doing your own little personal survey there. It just depends upon what weight you put. In other words, if you ask 3 people something, how much weight do you put on the value of each one of them? Because if 3 people is going to make your decision for you.
Oh, no. I want to do it anyway.
Good.
Because,
all right.
like I said, I'm part of the baby boomer, and being a woman, you've seen the commercials. Do we want to look young as long as possible? Do we want to fight it every step of the way? You right, we do.
That's right.
Why do you think hair color and wrinkle creams and things are so popular? But you know what? That's a Band-Aid.
Yep, that's the outside.
That's right. But you know what? If we'll spend that much on a Band-Aid, we'll definitely spend more on the inside if it's proven to work.
Yeah. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get together with Kim and talk with her about when we can actually, the 3 of us, sit down.
Okay.
So I will be back in communication with you within probably the next 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
All right. Nice to meet you, by the way, and
nice
I look forward to
talking
working with you.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Let's do another live call. This one will be with Catherine. If you remember, she is the lady who previously had a bad experience with MLM.
Hello?
Is this Catherine?
It is.
Catherine, Tim Sells calling you again.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So did you do your homework?
I did.
You did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't want to break my promise. Usually when I tell someone I'm going to do something, I do it, so.
I get that.
Yeah.
I really do. I kind of get that from you.
Okay.
And so did you kind of see anything in there that made logical sense to you?
Well, yeah, it all did, and it was very interesting because I really did think that the people in a multi-level, the people at the top made more compensation than people at the bottom, and you think at this point, why would I even waste my time? So that was kind of a fallacy that I had. And it actually piqued my interest. I was surprised because to tell you the truth, I didn't think, I was being nice to you. I mean, not that I'm trying to pretend, but I really didn't think it would move me from my position, and it kind of did.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
So what was the part that made the most sense to you that you went, oh?
Mr. King actually had a formula. You didn't seem like you were just going off the cuff and it wasn't a pep rally. And you actually seem to have some method behind your madness. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely got my interest. I mean, are you going to be training me? Because I would need someone to train me.
What I basically talked to her about was the training I would provide for her. I walked her through every step I would do with her. Remember, when handling the MLM objection, you put all the emphasis on training, so I wasn't surprised when she brought up training. All right, I'm just going to play several calls back to back for you. Some of the calls I cut short just because we headed off talking about odd subjects or something where I didn't think it will be of any value to you. Pay close attention to how I communicate at the level of the person I'm talking to, as well as how I always follow the same procedure on each call, and that it is the procedure I outlined to you. So enjoy these calls.
Hello?
Hey, is this Jan?
It is Jan speaking.
Jan, I'm so sorry. This is Tim Sells calling you. I spoke to you last night.
Oh, Tim Sells, yes. I remember you.
Yes, all right. So did you see my the website?
I did.
And
yes.
what did you think of the flash?
It was very nice, very well done.
Good.
Good job, yes.
It's a good
very
technology.
Impressive. Yes.
You ever work with Flash?
A few times, yeah. A few times I've been doing a couple projects here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very familiar with Flash, yeah. Flash is nice.
I love working with Flash.
You work with Flash?
A little bit. I know the program. Not kept up with it since its last revision, but yeah, I program a little bit in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, what did you think of the content? Did you watch both movies?
I only watched the one that you mentioned. I know actually both. Yeah, both. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, it was very impressive. Very very nice. It's nice. It's interesting how people spend money.
Yes.
In different categories.
Yes.
People who had no money, people who had a lot of money.
What was your favorite part?
I think the one that have different breaks, like brackets, different. It's like a pyramid,
Right.
Do you remember that one?
Yes.
That piece is very interesting.
So had
Yeah.
you been exposed to network marketing before?
No.
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 And so you like the part where I described 4 levels deep.
Yes, that's it.
And then I compared that to a regular company where the top person, the CEO, gets paid off the efforts of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Did you pick up the part in the very beginning of Brilliant Compensation where I talked about what trends are driving the economy, and I discussed the basketball through the garden hose, and that if you can get in front of that basketball, then that's where you make the most amount of money.
Okay.
Remember that part?
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And the basketball represents the 76 million baby boomers.
Right. Wow.
And it's really 1 billion people worldwide because we're in a world market right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone's our market now.
Yeah, everything is marketing right now. Yeah, right.
If you can get in front of what 1 billion people want, then that's the way to create a lot of income.
Mm-hmm.
The particular trend that I'm taking advantage of is the trend as it relates to health and wellness.
Right.
Because what you told me that you wanted was more time with your family, right?
Correct.
And you want to spend time with your children and be there and things like that. Well, the way that you do it, logically, it's only the logical way to look at this, is to get in front of one of those big trends. We're taking advantage of the trend having to do with health.
Okay.
And what we specifically do is...
And how about if we can continue talking in this topic? I'm at work right now, and I cannot really talk to.
I get it, man.
You know.
I get it. So you'd love to talk about it, but you can't because you're at work.
Right. At this moment, yes. How about if we do that tomorrow or this evening?
Okay, let's talk tonight. What's a good time for you tonight?
How about if you give me your phone number? Yeah, I got your phone number in the website.
Okay.
Right? And I give you a call.
Okay, about what time? Because I have several different things to do tonight, and want to time it right. What's a good time?
When the kids go to bed, it's around 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
That'll work for me.
Okay.
Okay, right. I will expect your call at right at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Well,
all right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Nadira?
Yeah?
This is Tim Sales calling.
Oh, hi. Thank you for calling.
You're very, very welcome. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Uh-huh.
So you got a chance to watch the videos?
Yes, I did.
And what did you think of them?
Well, very interesting.
Good.
Yeah, and...
Could you see a possibility to get your husband here?
Well, I'm waiting for him to get his citizenship because I'm applying next year for the citizenship, and with this, he'll be here as soon as I get it.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I want to help you get him here.
Oh, great.
Because I can't imagine what that must be like.
Oh, yeah.
I've thought a lot about it, and you are so ambitious, and what an ambitious family that, he would get you out of harm's way and have you come here. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not easy, yeah, that's true.
No, but it's so worthwhile.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so you have questions?
Well, it was about this network marketing, right? And I was wondering how I can fit in here, with my background.
Yes, well, here's the way that I see you fitting in. And ultimately, what I'd like you to do is, one of the main partners that I am working with, her name is Kim. She's originally from Malaysia, and wonderful lady. What I'd like to do, ultimately, is to have the three of us sit down, and we would create exactly how it is that we're going to do this, working with you. So could you make it into the city, into Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, we live in... So definitely, yeah.
Kim, she is going to be in the city both today and tomorrow. She's done with what she's doing at around 6:15.
Tomorrow I think I can do it, yeah.
You can do it tomorrow? Sunday. Can you do it today?
Today at 6, I am not sure I can do it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no.
Then let's just plan on tomorrow then.
Okay.
Do you know where DuPont Circle is?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we just plan to meet at the corner of Connecticut and R Street?
Okay.
And there's a Starbucks coffee right there.
Okay.
Let me give you my cell phone number so that you can call me in case you're lost.
Yes, please.
Is 818.
818. Yeah.
All right. So I will plan to see you there at about 6:15.
Okay, I'll be there.
All right. Well, I sure look forward to meeting you in face, and you'll love Kim. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Steven Lacra.
Oh, how are you? Are you the one that I was working with on the computer?
Yeah. Yeah, I did watch those two, what do you call, series or videos.
The two movies?
Yeah.
All right, so you finally got your computer working.
Oh yeah, that I called that friend of mine, and he came and he did whatever he had to do.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, so you got a chance to watch the movies?
Yes, I did.
All right, and what did you think of the first one about the wealthy, the middle class, and the poor?
That was really impressive. I mean that is a really good analogy. In fact, I was just thinking about it in my workplace today. And I was trying to remember and write down whatever I recalled.
Good.
So that concept sounded really good.
That's been my lessons learned. My parents were, on the poor side, and so I learned so much throughout just observing and seeing. When I did make money, and then all of a sudden it goes out. I find myself with a whole bunch of toys and a bunch of things that cost me money every month, and so my wealth goes away, and and things like that. So good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. What did you think of the second video? What did you like most about it?
The network concept.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean that sounds that's in theory that sounds really very good. I mean it also depends on the products that we deal with and also the realistic approach of it is a little harder to get it done. Although the thing is very simple. I mean it's a real good fair deal for everybody. Yeah.
What did you think of the basketball moving through the garden hose conversation?
Yeah, that as well. Actually, that aspect of it gave me another way of really analyzing this network type of business.
Okay, good.
So that analogy also gave me a different perspective to think in terms of the network concept.
Good. Here's the reason that I wanted you to watch those. See, because as I begin to discuss with you what I'm specifically doing, if you don't know how to evaluate a business, then you won't understand why my business has a value. And so one of the main reasons that I created those videos is so that people would know how to evaluate a business. And the basketball moving through the garden hose has to do with what product you are behind. In other words, what product is it that you actually promote? And if you promote a product that is not centered around trends, like let's suppose that I was selling bows, like bows and arrows, for people who like to deer hunt.
Yeah.
That's not in the middle of any trend. In other words, it's fine, right? What if I was selling bowling balls? It's not in the middle of any trend.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you have to get a product that is on the front edge of that basketball, or at least
that's the concept which caught my attention in that one.
Good. All right. And then once you've decided upon a product that you want to actually promote, and the next thing that you have to figure out is what's the best way to do it. And you could go out and open up a store. You could hire employees. And as soon as you train them, they will become your best competition. And it happens every day.
Yeah.
The other option is that you don't hire anybody else. You try to do it all yourself. That doesn't make any sense because you'll work until the day you die.
Yep.
right? You can't create any residual income that way. And so that's the reason that I wanted you to watch those movies, is so that you could see how to evaluate a business. So do you want to hear a little bit more about what I'm specifically doing?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. If you've kind of figured this out, I pretty much run all my business based upon you have to make someone's life better. Mm-hmm. So the first person's life that we make better is the consumer. That's the ultimate person's life that we make better. And the way we make it better is by they get more healthy. When someone is more healthy, they get sick less. They have more energy, they feel better, and they're less susceptible to the diseases that cause so many people problems.
Mm-hmm. Tim, sounds really. I'm really interested to learn the business.
Good. That's normally the case because it is a really good program. Where are you located at?
Tacoma Park.
Tacoma Park. So you're not very far away from us at all.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is have you meet with me and the main girl that I'm working with. Her name is Kim. On like maybe Monday. You work during the day?
I think we have to set up an appointment because there are some days I work and some days I don't.
Some days you do and some days you don't.
I mean, I work, but it's kind of a really crazy schedule.
Okay.
I don't have a kind of a fixed schedule except for 3 nights.
Monday or Tuesday, could you meet on either of those days?
Maybe not Monday, but Tuesday seems okay. You have any time tomorrow?
Yeah, but it'll be Monday or Tuesday that we'll meet, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello?
Is this Madison?
Yes, Kim?
Yes.
Hi.
All right. Did you get a chance to watch the movie? Did you find it okay?
I did. You know, I was saying to you in our earlier conversation that I'd worked for that personal trainer and sold some nutritional products. Well, that was through a network marketing company. And
okay.
Boy, based on brilliant compensation video, I should have stuck with it. I can't believe it. I love the whole concept of leverage. I mean, I know how good I am at sales on my own, so imagine if I had, 1,000 other people or 1,000 hours, I would say, in a day, like you had said, when you were talking about leverage your sales. So that's what you meant when you were talking about team. So I get it now.
Yeah. So if I train you, then and that's what I was talking about, development, personal development and human development, is that, you train others.
Mm-hmm.
And just is the most logical way that it can possibly work.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead.
I've just never had any. I know that when I was doing those sales, the person I was working for wasn't as. They just didn't take me under their wings. So.
Well, you can tell. You can tell by our approach.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we're not flying by the seat of our pants here or anything. We know what we're doing. We have a particular audience that we're after in terms of the consumer market, whether it's health clubs or doctor's offices or anything else. That how we go about it, it's very precise, and so therefore our training is very precise. And so we're just very articulate about what we do, just like this process here is that we're walking you through. First you have to understand the industry, because we can't have somebody, a month later not understanding the industry, not realizing the industry that they're in, just like you before. You viewed it as selling vitamin. And then you go watch that movie and you go, there's a little bit more to this than selling vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
And so so in terms of, if I can just go back in my notes here that I wrote on your resume, you said that you wanted something that you could sink your teeth into. You wanted something that you could set your own hours, and that it made a difference out there, and you make a lot of money in it.
Yeah. I'd love to know more about the product.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. What I'd like you to do is, I'm going to have you go to the web again.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Okay.
And this time it's about specifically... Okay?
Oh, good. Okay,
all right.
Yeah.
So the web address is www.
.com. Okay, cool. Yes.
All right. Your homework assignment is for you to look. Okay. Whatever it is that Madison needs, something where you can go, you know what? I believe in the product. Every sales rep that I have ever worked with goes through a stage of they themselves believing in the product. And I don't know what that path is going to be for you.
Okay.
All right, and so obviously at some point here we're going to have you trying the products, using the products, so that you yourself, can believe in the product. But I want you to review what you need to review.
Yeah. Tim, is there any money that I need to put out to start this?
Not at this time. All I'm having you do is review information.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, I'll look at that. And then, are you in the area? Am I going to be able to meet with you and the team, or?
I travel back and forth across the coast. I have a place on both coasts. Yes, you have a team, and so you'd be working with them.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the research on this, and then when can we speak again, or is there a way I can get a hold of you, or after
sure. Let me give you my cell phone number.
Okay.
818. And you can reach me anytime. Don't worry about the time at all, because if I'm asleep, then I turn it off. If I can't answer it because I'm busy, then I don't answer it. Feel free to call at any time, and you'll normally get a call back from me within 4 hours or so. That's pretty much the time.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Let's just set a target date for when the homework assignment will be completed. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
What do you think? Maybe 2 days? A day? You tell me.
Tomorrow's Sunday. I should be able to look at it tomorrow. So if you want to call me on Monday, that sounds great.
All right. Monday, what time?
Why don't we? Can we speak in the evening, like after around 5, 6 o'clock, something like that?
Of course.
Okay. Good.
All right. Are you currently employed now? Are you working somewhere now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm. Just. It's just temporary until I, find something that obviously I like.
That you can sink your teeth into, that you can set your own hours, that you can make a lot of money, that you can contribute to people's lives.
Yes, you're a good listener. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So, until then, I obviously do the normal things to bring in a paycheck, but I'm looking for something more. So,
good. Well, I hope you found it, Madison. I really have.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I look forward to talking to you again then tomorrow at. I'm sorry. What time did we say?
Monday.
Monday at.
Monday. Yeah, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock would be perfect.
All right. So instead of 5:30 or 6, let's just say 6 o'clock.
You got it.
All right. 6 p.m. I will call you at this number.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
All right. You as well.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
That was the follow-up procedure of how to do an effective follow-up. The key is how to transition your prospect from brilliant compensation to your company's product or service. All of this section was assuming that your prospect did everything they agreed to do in the close to action step. Now let's go through a couple of scenarios that you will probably experience doing follow-up calls, where the prospect didn't do what they said they would do. The first one is the most common, and that is, what if your prospect didn't watch the movie? There are 3 main reasons people don't watch the movie. One is some kind of technical problem. Primarily I'm talking about the online movie. 2 is that some time element occurred which prevented your prospect from watching it. Third reason someone would not have watched the movie is because something changed in their mind between the time you talk to them and the time you're following up. Let's go through each of these. Technical difficulty watching the online movie. When your prospect tells you it didn't work, get the prospect to try it again. Ask exactly what happens when clicking the link. If the movie and audio still doesn't work, tell the prospect to click on the link at the top of the screen that reads Problems Viewing Movie. Have them fill out the form and instructions will be sent to them. Then reclose them to action. Most of the time the technical problem is either they don't have the software to play the movie or they have a firewall that prevents it from playing. It is not advisable for you to try to troubleshoot the problem. If you end up suggesting something that causes something weird to happen with their computer, it will reflect poorly on you. Brilliant Exchange, the company who handles tech support, is very adept at handling these issues. And the second reason prospects don't watch the movie is that some time element occurred. They got home late, the link was on their work computer so they didn't have it at home, they left the video in the car, the kids have the VCR in their room and they're asleep now, things like that. With these types of situations, investigate what happened, help them solve it if it requires your help, and then reclose to action. It's very important not to show any irritation or upset here. Whether it's that you're surprised, or you feel bad, or you're disappointed, this is unprofessional. Just say, "Oh, I see. So it shouldn't be a problem tonight, right?" Then reclose to action and set another follow-up time. Here's an example. "Hi, Bob. Tim Sales calling." "Hi, Tim. Did you watch the online movie?" "Actually, Tim, I didn't get to it." "Hey, I understand. Will you be able to watch it today?" "Yeah, probably so." "Good. Should I call you back later tonight, or do you want to wait until tomorrow?" "Let's make it tomorrow because I'm going to take the kids to the movies tonight." "Oh, great. What movie are you going to see?" Blah, blah." "Oh, fun. Well, enjoy both movies then. How does 8:30 p.m. work for you tomorrow?" "That'll work great." "All right, I'll call you at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow evening on this same number." "Sounds good. Goodbye." And the third reason someone doesn't watch the movie is something changed between the time you closed them to action and now. They could have just had a thought that caused them to decide to not watch the movie. The way that thought shows itself to you is they might seem negative or disinterested. Here's an example. Let's say you've talked to your friend Cindy. She's been working at the same place for 10 years. She's not happy with the money and knows she'll never make her dreams come true working there, but she likes her coworkers. She talks with you on the invite call and gets excited about the possibilities of making some of her dreams come true. When she got off the phone with you, she went straight in and took a shower. While showering, she ponders that if she no longer worked at her job, she would miss her friends there. That's all it was, just a quick thought. Doesn't mean being around her friends is senior to her dreams. It was just that simple thought. That would be enough to not watch the movie and just sort of lose interest. Your prospect could have just had a simple thought about that he has a lot to get done and asks himself the question, "Do I really have time?" Your prospect could have walked in and mentioned something about your invite call to his spouse, and she commented negatively. My point is that it could be anything. When you're talking to your prospect, I don't think it's worth digging into unless something is actually said. Have you ever been asked what's wrong by someone over and over and over? Pretty soon something is wrong. What I recommend you do is just continue with your follow-up procedure unless something comes up. If it does, handle any questions or objection, restore their needs, wants, and then reclose them to action. What does restore their needs, want mean? In my description of what commonly occurs with prospects, they focus on things that will stop them from getting what they want instead of focusing on things that will. So the way you restore their needs, wants, is to get them talking about this thing they want. By them talking about it, they take their mind off the bug and onto the thing they want. Let's say a person wants to play more golf. The way I would restore their need, want would be to talk to them about golf. So what is it about golf you enjoy so much? When did you start playing golf? When did you know you were hooked? What's the best game you've ever shot? What was it that caused you to do so well that particular game? How frequently had you been practicing prior to that best game? Now, as you talk about this, they take their focus off the bug, which is stopping them, and put it on golf, which is what they want. Here's another example. This time, let's say it's money. John, when we spoke before, you told me that you wanted to make money so you could pay down your debts. What would you do then? How would you make decisions differently? What have you learned by being in debt that you'd want someone else to know? So if you had an extra $1,000 at the end of the month, after all your bills are paid, what would you do with it? John says, I'd take my parents on a cruise. Really? Would you go with them or would you send them by themselves? Where would you go? How would you tell them about it? Would you send them their itinerary in a wrapped box? Would you call and tell them? What would you do? After 2, 3, or 4 questions, you will hear their voice begin to shift from being negative, disinterested, distant, to being slightly interested, then excited about it. That's when you close them to action again. If you really want to do this right, do something towards their goal, such as get the price for the cruise and a brochure on the islands or area the prospect said he wanted to take his parents to. Work your compensation plan backwards from the cost of the cruise, and when you do your follow-up call, tell him what you figured out for him. Tell him you figured out exactly how to take his parents on the cruise 90 days from today, 6 months, or 1 year, depending upon how aggressively he wants to work. This is the extra step that wins big, not just monetarily, but you will have the greatest feeling in the world when you send flowers to their cabin congratulating their achievement. You did that. That prospect couldn't have done that without you, or they already would have. So that's what you do when you restore someone's needs wants. Again, you do that when you follow up with them and they didn't watch the movie due to some lackadaisical excuse, like watching a TV show, or they say something like, I'm pretty much happy where I am. I got a good job, and besides, my wife doesn't think I have any time to do anything else. Or they say something like, I just didn't get around to it. Everything this prospect is saying is only because he went back to focusing on the bug on his windshield instead of that thing he wants on the other side of the windshield. You restore that thing he wants, which simply means get him focused back on it, and it becomes a little closer to him, not so far away, and then you get him to agree to look at the video again. Close to action, and then follow up with him again.
Professional Inviter recordings and transcripts are copyright 2004 by Up Statistics Corporation. Any unauthorized translation, duplication, importation, or distribution is a violation of applicable laws and will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.